Hello and welcome to another Blues Focus match preview. And I'm not going to be sick of saying this because Birmingham have won another game, making it their best ever league start to a season, beating Bolton Wanderers 2-0 in what Chris Davis described as a dominant performance. And I have to agree with him completely. The fact that Iwata scored after 3 minutes. And for me, that's goal of the season so far. Like, there's so many goals to choose from, isn't there? Just top quality ones. But Tomoki Iwata, he only seems to score one of the goals, doesn't he? That just side foot strike with his weak foot as well. And Bogdan saying that we conceded to a man called Iwata. I think a lot of teams in League One this season are going to be conceding against the man called Iwata because he was amazing, wasn't he? All the game, just doing what he does in the midfield alongside Pape, who for me was man of the match. And them two together, just unbelievable, especially for the level that they're playing at. And yeah, Jay Stansel scoring off the bench as well, coming back from under 21 duties with a bit of a knock. So he had to come off the bench in this game. But Judy dispatched his penalty straight down the middle to give us the 3 points. And it was a fantastic atmosphere at the game, wasn't it? Just over 27,000 people at the ground. For a midweek game, it just grows testament, doesn't it, to what Tom Wagner and Knighthead and the fans now brought into the project and what it goes to show that it can be. Because, you know, the fact that we're doing that in League One, it's just fantastic, isn't it? And next up is a trip to the One Call Stadium for our second game in 7 days. It's against Mansfield Town. And Mansfield Town, it's a team that started off so well, haven't they? 4th place in League One, 7 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. Doing magnificent, having just been promoted from League Two. Nigel Clough is their manager, a manager of a lot of know-how and experience, someone that we were actually linked with a couple of years ago. But yeah, they've done really well so far. They've got a strike force of Will Evans and Lee Gregory, got 11 goals between them in the League One season so far. And they're looking really good, aren't they? 5 wins from the last 6 outings and a 2-1 win against Wigan last time out. And the only time they haven't scored in a League One game this season was against Stevenage, where they lost 1-0. So looking really good at the moment. And it's going to be a tough test for us, I think, because of the form that they've got. Their fans are going to be confident. And I kind of liken it to the Lincoln game, where it's a team that perhaps wasn't expected to achieve that much this season, really kind of punching above their weight. And it's going to be a big crowd, I imagine. The atmosphere is going to be similar to the Lincoln game, where it's a lot of teams' big day out, isn't it? The fact that they're going to welcome Birmingham, a team that they haven't played in many, many years. I mean, the last time we played Mansfield was 1991, so it's definitely stretching back some time. And I'm really looking forward to this encounter. And ahead of this encounter, we spoke to Mansfield fan Craig from Mansfield Matters to get the lowdown on what he thinks about the team so far and their take on a fantastic start.
I think for us, Nigel Clough has been an absolute revelation. He's completely turned the club's fortunes around, and I think the start of the season, we're all a little bit bemused by it. And I think a lot of us actually find it a little bit funny to see some clubs perhaps have underestimated us a little bit. Maybe we've even underestimated ourselves, but we were never going to come into this division just to make the numbers up. And we were never going to come into this division just to sort of be in a relegation battle either. We've built a squad capable of competing easily at mid-table. We're under no illusions that, you know, bad form will come and hit eventually. But we're just enjoying the ride for what it is. And Nigel Clough, since he's come in, has given us that belief, that confidence to sort of go forward. But what he's also done as a manager is grounded us as supporters. We know to take one thing game by game. We know not to get too carried away with ourselves. And we know to enjoy the highs and the lows equally and sort of learn from them as a collective. This season so far has been an absolutely fantastic start, and it typifies what Mansfield are all about, really. You know, we lose to Stevenage, then we go and beat Wigan in midweek, and to be honest, if we were playing you guys at your place, I'd be a lot confident about coming away with all 3 points. But it'll be an interesting game, and we'll see where we go. But to be 4th in the league after 11 games, I think I must still be asleep at some point. Maybe it's promotion hangover sort of kicking in at long last. In terms of how we'll set up, it's a little bit of an interesting one, because if you'd have asked me this at the start of the season, I'd have said Nigel Clough will go with a solid back four, and then anything in front of that will be whatever it is. We've tended to be a bit fluid last season. We've tried to sort of play through midfield with a 4-3-3, a 4-3-1-2 when we had Davies Keeler-Dunn. But since we've lost him in the transfer window to Barnsley, we've gone with a back five with wing backs and got a little bit sort of solidified across the midfield as well. So I'd expect us to set up with a back five with wing backs in there. We'll try and sort of be a little bit physical. We'll try and keep hold of the ball. We'll press quite high and we'll press quite well as well. And we'll just soak up pressure and try and play on the counter-attack and maybe catch you guys a little bit unawares if we can. Players to watch is quite a hard question to answer because I think unlike other football clubs, we don't really have that one or two players who are really what you'd call marquee signings or marquee players. We are a squad. I mean, at the moment, we're in this fortunate position in the next few weeks where every single player that we've had out injured over the last 6 months or so will be pretty much back available apart from Reece Oates. So we've got Alfie Kilgore coming back in, who colossal defender, ex-Bristol Rovers, of course, missed all of last season with a long-term injury and has only sort of come back in the last couple of weeks or so. He could be in contention for Saturday. Aidan Flint's missed the last 6 games or so. He came back on Tuesday night as a sub, and I would imagine he'll start on Saturday as well. So we have a squad where we can pick any 11, and we don't particularly have players that will sort of stand out and be highlighted names. But if I were to pick a few, obviously you're going to go with your Lee Gregory's and your Will Evans and Keanu Bacchus, but the ones to watch for us are Des Jajalaja, aka Dave as we call him on Mansfield Matters. He's played at centre-back in a back 3 and a back 4 this season, where last season he played in midfield for Burton. He's been a rock there, absolutely solid. Nothing beats him in the air, nothing beats him on the ground. He's just cool and calm and collected. And I would also probably say the likes of Elliot Hewitt as well down the right-hand side to really create us some space and get us going. And I think as well, the other honourable mention, goalkeepers very rarely get mentions on these types of things, but Christy Pym, our number 1, absolutely fantastic for us. Grows and grows in confidence week by week. He's really been key to our success. In terms of score prediction, I think, like I said earlier on, if we were coming to your place, we're very good away from home and we like to turn up and spoil people's day. So if it was at your place, I'd certainly be backing us for maybe a 2-1 win. It's a difficult one, this one, because it's head and heart. You guys have obviously spent a lot of money on players. We've only brought one player in, and in fact, you could probably look throughout our entire history, and I don't think I'd be far wrong in saying that the 10 or 13 million or whatever it was you spent on Jay Stansfield, we've probably not collectively spent that on players in our entire history. So it's fine margins, but buying footballers and buying talent doesn't necessarily win you games. We tend to play well when there's an atmosphere, when there's a little bit of buzz and electricity around the place. And I think that is what you guys will bring to One Call Stadium on Saturday. So head says that it'll be a 1-1 draw. Heart says Mansfield will nick it 2-0. We'll see what happens. Can't wait. Going to be a great game. Looking forward to locking horns. And yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see just how far away we perhaps are from the top end of League One, pushing the Championship, which of course you guys deserve to be. All the best for Saturday. Have a great trip.
So there's Craig from Mansfield Matters, a really insightful voice note there we got from him. And it did make me chuckle, actually, him mentioning about the spending of our team and Jay Stansfield costing the money that he did, and the price of him costing more than what they've spent in their whole time that they've been in existence. So yeah, really insightful to hear that from Craig. And I better jump into the starting 11 predictions, because it was a mostly unchanged team, wasn't it, for the Bolton game? Only one change in that side, and I imagine there's going to be a couple changes in this game. I don't know if Jay Stansfield's 100% fit, but I imagine if he is, he will come in for Alfie May, because I don't like the whole Stansfield May in the same lineup thing, and especially when May drops deep, because there was a couple of times in the game on Tuesday where he got the ball and he was a little bit clumsy with it, wasn't he? There was a chance where he got played through one-on-one. He just got caught up a little bit. Whereas if I think it was Stansfield making that run and Stansfield one-on-one, I think he would have scored that goal. So those are the fine margins that now exist in our team, where you've got good players, but then really good players as well. And I think that's something that's happening in the midfield too, with Mark Leonard being displaced by Tomoki Iwata and Paik Sung Ho, because they're just kind of a level above. Not to say that Leonard's no good. It's just, being that extra level is something that is attention to detail in this team, and the squad depth that we've got as well. And even Laird at right back, I imagine he will keep his place actually in the team, having come back from that injury. And it did look like there was a little bit of cobwebs, to his performance, a couple of loose touches and all. But there was definitely a game plan that was put in place for Allsop to play the ball long over the top to Laird with his pace. And that's something that not a lot of defenders in League One will be able to cope with, dealing with their balls over the top, with even Laird latching onto it with his pace. So that's going to be a testing time for the Mansfield defence, I'm sure, if Laird makes those forward runs, and especially with the amount of possession that we keep as well, because against Bolton, it was 68% possession, absolutely dominated the ball. And this is against the Bolton side that were right up there in League One last season. So I fully expect us to do the same against Mansfield. And it's purely going to be in our control, isn't it, whether we get the 3 points or not. And if we don't, I imagine it'll be down to individual mistakes, because collectively as a team, we look fantastic at the moment, hence our best league start ever. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for Birmingham. As I said, really looking forward to this game, a 12:30 kickoff, so a bit earlier than usual. And I won't actually be around on Saturday for the post-match reaction. So I'll leave that one to Tommy, and he'll take you through all the stuff that happened in the Mansfield game, hopefully hearing about another 3 points and staying top of the league. And yeah, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and keep right on.